Alrighty, we are here with Scott Porter, owner, founder, chief churro officer, one of the many chief churro officers we've had on this podcast of San Diablo and their artisan churros. I am a sucker for churros. I think every time my family and I ate at a Mexican restaurant growing up and they had churros for dessert, I was like, we need to get those. So this is a churro dream come true. Scott, thanks so much for joining. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, we I should have had a little bit more foresight and sent you some churros ahead of this ahead of our time to talk. And so I'm sorry I didn't do that, but I'll send it to you as a thank you afterwards. So
Uh,
whet that churro appetite that is real. The churro need is real. I understand it.
Appreciate that, and that was the whole point of this interview. So I'm going to sign off now. So see you, Scott. But
Exactly. Mission accomplished, right?
yeah, greatest interview ever. No, excited to get to all the churro stuff and really appreciate that. But before that, so you've got a really interesting background, and you've worked and even started businesses in a wide range of industries. And the one that jumped out at me, and really took me into the sky, was the fact that I've never talked to anybody who started their own airline before. Can you share that story?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, the business analogies of like getting off the ground or, we're really taking off, they never ended when we were starting Surf Air. So Surf Air is the first membership um, all you can fly membership airline. And so a little bit different than like a jet suites or even commercial. It's kind of like an interesting combination between both. Basically, you pay a monthly fee and you can fly as much as you want anywhere that we served. So and we started in California, and so yeah, it was one of those. I mean, it was one of those things that when my good friend Wade Irely approached me and approached the four of us that were the founders and said, I'll never forget that day when he called me on the phone. It was New Year's Day in 2012. I'm like, what year was that? 2012. Yeah, 2012. And he said, hey, we just got accepted into this incubator in Santa Monica. Do you want to come help launch an airline? I'm like, I literally remember those words like ringing in my ears because you never get asked these questions, right? And so yeah, I of course and we all stopped what we were doing, and none of us had any previous airline experience, but we were hustlers and we wanted to make it happen, and we're driven by this mission to do something that no one had ever done before, this all you can fly membership airline model. And it was amazing. We had just a fantastic leadership team, and we did it in a year and a half. We launched, and it took us a year and a half to get the funding and the FAA clearance, and 2 rounds of fundraising. I had the unique challenge of marketing the airline, but we could not pre-sell anything. So we just basically, for a year and a half, I just had to like tease people with membership, like, hey, this is coming. We can't take your money yet because it's not legal to do that. But so that was really interesting to just like continue to like do market research, figure out how people were going to use the airline as members, and what that membership experience looked like. We wanted to basically, one of our big things was to obviously reducing the pain that frequent air commuters have, like airline commuters have, and then restore all of the joy and nostalgia of the way that flying used to be. It used to be really exciting and sexy, and so we were flying in and out of the local regional airports so that you didn't have the same TSA security clearance. You could arrive 10, 15 minutes before your flight, park for free as long as you want. You walk on the tarmac. We know your name. Hey, Max, it's so great to have you back. Here's your Wall Street Journal and your cranberry juice or whatever. Like, we wanted to create this allure and this mystique of the romanticism of flying again, and just make it easy and get people time and back in their schedule. And it was so amazing. Yeah, I've like it was. We will. We get together frequently, the founders, and we all actually ended up living in Utah after we launched in Southern California, and the airline's still going. And it was a fantastic team to be a part of, and really um, amazing to be able to do something that had never been done before. So yeah, it was awesome. Very, very, like, the fondest memories.
Well, good on you, because I don't even know airlines were like started. I think they were just like a thing.
They're just
They're just around, except for like
and
Richard Branson. But
yeah, and it's hard, and it turns out that, like, I mean, it's a tough industry. And I mean, Richard Branson has a famous quote where, like, they someone asked him what's the quickest way to become a millionaire, and he said, well, you start with $1 billion and then you launch an airline. It's like, so it's an infamous quote in the industry where it airlines are tough. Airlines are tough. We all use them and need them, and maybe have loyalty, are part of the loyalty programs and everything. But it's a tough industry, but it is so fun. We had so much fun.
so let's get from flying planes to flying churros.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
San Diablo, which
natural,
naturally,
natural progression, career progression.
yeah, naturally, and if you look up the pictures of your airline, all the planes are shaped like churros
Oh,
and all this kind of
yeah,
natural tie there. But
totally.
San Diablo, so really cool brand that you've come across, and I think it's like there's so many food brands and, as I say, foodpreneurs out there, and it's so hard to differentiate yourself. But I think churros is like a really fun space to be in, and you've done an amazing job and mouthwatering job of making it like a kind of gourmet artisan, like fun but also premium brand. uh where did you first fall in love with churros?
Yeah. My obsession with I was like you, and I was a kid. I literally have I don't I honestly, I've been scouring the internet. So if anyone listening can help me with this, there was like a whimsy something. I found like an old logo from like the 80s, and I can't, and it looks so familiar, and it, like, I can start to smell it when I go. And we visited my great aunt in Southern California when I was a little kid. We grew up in Canada, and so we went down to visit, and I remember these churros, and I remember it, but I whimsy something, I can't remember. It was like a cool little store. We went there, churros, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are so amazing. And as a kid, you don't have a very refined palate. It's like sugar and cinnamon. You're like, oh, this is great. And it's baked goods, and you're like carbs, And so, and then fast forward, I was a missionary for the LDS Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in Mexico for 2 years. And so I lived in the northeastern part of Mexico. That's where I just became absolutely obsessed with everything Mexican. The people, obviously, the culture, their heart, the language, the food, which is like the language of love in Mexico. And so I was obsessed with tacos. I knew I wanted to go back. I went back after I was done being a missionary, and during my undergrad studies, I did an internship in Mexico City. While I was in Mexico City, which I think is like the best food city in the world. And there's a magical part of the town in the southern part of the city that's called Coyoacan. and it is like street food paradise. So imagine everything that you want your wildest street food dreams to come true. So tacos, tamales, churros, obviously churros. I mean, there's like 7 churro places within like a 2-block radius. Ice cream, like street corn, marquesitas. Anyway, all sorts of street food. I had my first fresh filled churros there when I went to Coyoacan. I still remember exactly the street corner, Rio Jordan, and it's like I still go there all the time because I lead taco tours to Mexico City. But that's a whole other story. But there's so I had these fresh filled churros, and I've never been the same since. It was like, I mean, you know how it is when you travel and you eat great food and you're like, wait a second, why can't pizza be this good back home? I don't understand. Why can't I have tacos like al pastor this good in America? Like, what's the problem here? What, like, and so I had that same thing. Like, why do we have such lame churros back home that you're always like attracted to them, and but then you end up you being usually disappointed. It's like they're too hard, they're not tasty enough, there's just like something missing. They smell really great, but that was what so that was the birth of the idea in the back of my head, where I mean, many of us have these ideas when we're traveling, like, oh well, we should start a real pizza place, or we should start a real churro place. And so I had that thought, and then had 5 different career lives between that moment and 9 years ago, when we decided that it was time to bring high quality, premium, fresh filled churros to America. And I actually, when I was thinking about starting San Diablo, I was like, wait a second, I don't understand. Why has no one ever brought churros like this to America? I don't get it. Like, there was a lot of time that passed from that moment when I had my first, but I understand now why it's hard. Turns out churros are hard. um,
You have a knack for getting into businesses that are
that are,
unexpectedly
yeah,
hard, but
I
you
know.
actually you revealed a kind of a common theme that's come up among, as I say, wild entrepreneurs on the podcast, of like seeing an idea in another country that's like, this is amazing. Why isn't it in the US? And then bringing it and like making it a success. So like we had really early on in the podcast, we had Emily Griffith, who started Little Bucks, and she was studying abroad in Australia, and like love those like bowls, like granola bowls or acai bowls like that. And they would use little like buckwheat seeds in there. And she's like, these are so good and tasty and healthy for you. Like, why are they not in the US? And she kind of brought that to the US and started a whole thing. We've had another guest who's a military veteran. And when he was serving in the Middle East, the saffron was so amazing there. And it's like, it's hard
Mm.
to get good saffron, good quality saffron. And it's like such a whole process. And so he brought that to the US. So like, there's so many amazing stories like that. Yours is definitely of the sweeter variety, but in terms of that aspect, this the sweet and delicious aspect of it. So like, it's one thing to have your eye set on churros. It's another thing to actually make them and start to scale them. How did you perfect the recipe, and get it to a point that actually this is something we feel good about serving to customers and actually serving to selling to retailers out there?
um uh so the recipe that we use, that we've now tweaked it and made it our own, but the base of that recipe was from a dear friend, Sam Oteo. We were at his restaurant. He's like a brilliant chef. What Like, delicious. I just love to eat his food. He just makes the most amazing Mexican food. And the first time that we met, he we were geeking out about Mexico City, obviously, and he like made. I finished eating, and we were still talking, and no one else was there for some reason. It was like maybe a weird time of day, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to try some churros?" And I'm like, obvious, like, of course, like, take it back, don't ask me these questions, yes, just bring me the churros. And so he pulled out this thing, and he's like, and he hand pulled them. He didn't have an extruder, he didn't have a piping bag, he just like pulled the dough, and like deep fried it right there. He's like, yeah, this is my grandmother's recipe from Oaxaca. And I'm like, I ate them. And then I said, I was working in Surf Air at the time when I was eating them. And I said, oh my gosh, dude, these are freaking amazing. These, I think, are the best churros I've ever had. And I said, I've dreamt about starting a churro business, actually. I've had this in the back of my head. I have all my Evernote like ideas of businesses. And he's like, oh, do you want the recipe? And I said, sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the thick of like the airline business, and we thought that was going to be the rest of my life, sort of thing. And so he gave me the recipe. I filed it away in Evernote, and then it was about a year and a half later when we weren't at the airline anymore, and so that idea was resurrected. And so I called him. I said, "Hey Sam, I think I'm actually going to start a churro business. Is this okay if I use your grandma's recipe?" He's like, "Oh yeah, totally." So we have since like tweaked it and made it our own, but it was a it was a very speedy process because we decided to launch at a harvest festival here in Utah. And well, we decided to launch. I called them and I said, "Hey, I see that you're looking for vendors." And they said, "Yeah, what do you sell?" No business at the moment, no name, no business. I'd only made the recipe maybe twice in my life. And then I said, artisan filled churros. She's like, oh my gosh, it's been our dream to have filled churros at Corn Bellies, the name of this festival. And I was like, really? Like, your dream's about ready to come true. And she said, how long have you guys been in business? I said, well, we would be launching at Corn Bellies. She was like, oh. I said, okay, listen, why don't we do this? I will bring you and everyone that's involved in the decision-making process. I'll bring you all the churro flavors. You can sample them all, test them, and then you guys can decide whether or not you want us at the festival. She's like, that's great. We're meeting in 3 days. There's going to be 15 of us. And can you come and bring us churros? I'm like, absolutely. I'm like, what the heck? Like I said, I hadn't done the recipe. So when you bring up the recipe, you weren't anticipating an answer this long, but it's like, anyway, it was my friend's grandma's recipe that we tweaked, but then we had to like expedite and fast track this recipe. I called my friend Mindy, who was like a VP at Goldman Sachs that quit that job to pursue her passion of baking. And so I called her. I'm like, Mindy, what are you doing all day tomorrow? I think I'm launching a churro business. We got to make sure that this recipe works. And so what are you doing all day tomorrow? Can you help me make churros? I think I'm starting a churro business. So she did. Anyway, so 3 days we came up with the name, all the fillings, did the tasting. They're like, this is amazing. We think you should have 2 booths at Corn Bellies. So they're like, oh, can you bring your 2 booths? I'm like, oh, absolutely. We didn't even have 1 booth, right? But yes, we'll bring our 2 booths. Yes, 100%. So that's kind of the recipe and really like what got us going. But it was fast tracked, and now I mean, we've won best pastry in the state of Utah for 7 years, and we continue to get rave reviews from people and eye rolls in the back of their head, and um, comments about these, you didn't make these, angels did, sort of thing. So it's a special dough though. And there's a reason why there's not a lot of churro businesses, because it's hard. The dough is finicky. The dough is a pâte à choux dough for all the bakers out there, which is a cooked dough that you boil the water, you melt the butter, you add the flour, you add the eggs, all of these things like we make from scratch, but it is very special. It is very particular. And like there could be extra humidity in the air and it doesn't, anyway. So there's lots of things about it, but I can geek out about the food part of it, but it's it's been a fun journey to get it all kicked off with the right recipe. And that's really made a huge difference, because then that's what took us to, like, okay, well, we've been making millions of churros for the last 9 years doing events, and now, like, we got to take these high quality premium churros to everyone. So that's what we've launched, two new churro product lines that are in, like, grocery stores and at restaurants and everything. So we have our frozen churros and our snack churros, but I'm sure we'll get into that. So
Yeah, well, actually, that was exactly what I was wondering. Is like just looking through your offerings, you've really tested the format and innovated, and you've kind of gone the frozen route, but also you have like the churro bites, or what's the official name? The
Itty Bitty Churros.
itty bitty churros. How could I forget that?
The first ever. Here they are. This, and actually, I have some out of the bag
Beautiful.
because this is, so I can show for anyone that's watching. But these are like crispy little crunchy churro bits,
Oh my god, that's
and
like
you're
a
like,
dream.
yeah, it is. We just invented this like 6 months ago, and they're already in stores. They're already down the street from your house.
And for those just listening, I just ate a couple through the screen, so that was pretty cool. But no, yeah. So like, how do you and team continue to innovate and try out new formats like that? Because that, like, churros in itself are already like, ooh, cool. Like, everybody loves churros; they're great. And then you kind of took it to that next level. Like, wow, there's so many different things we can do with it.
Yeah. I mean, for us, the churro is like a blank slate and a canvas that we can paint on and do whatever we want. And so we have. Um, so like my team, they're like, oh my gosh, Scott's got this crazy idea again. And so over the years, obviously we're most people know, like, the long churros, right? Like, you get at Disneyland, or you used to get at Costco, or at the fair or whatever, and they're covered in cinnamon sugar. Maybe they have a dipping sauce or whatever. But I wanted to, like, dial things up from the very beginning, and so our whole thing for the entire time has been fresh filled churros. So churros that are made fresh on the spot. And our little, like, different twist to it is that they were mini, so they're like 3 inches long, and we fill them, they're hollow, and we fill them with happiness, is what we say. So, like, dulce de leche.
Yeah, yeah. Does happiness have nutrition facts?
Well, I'll get into that, because we're actually going to be, how people talk about, like, nutrient dense food.
Yeah.
And there's, like, a nutrient density index for food and how, like, heavy they are with nutrients. We're going to create a happiness density index. So food that has happiness density. And churro, I don't know if it's possible that anything could be more dense with happiness than a churro. And but we decided to, like, the classic filling flavors that you basically get everywhere. We have dulce de leche, Nutella, and sweetened condensed milk. Those are the ones that we always serve. And then we rotate through seasonal flavors as well. So right now we're just finishing up lemon curd for the summer, coconut cream, raspberry. And then in the fall, we're obviously getting into pumpkin cheesecake and wild berry, caramel apple filling flavors. So those, like, it just, like, we crush in this holidays, we crush candy canes and put those on the outside of the churro and do a peppermint cream. So there's, like, so many fun things we could do. We've done, on the sweet side, we have a restaurant that is in Long Beach called Beasties. It's a Mexican smash burger concept, which is amazing. I can't wait to eat there. They just launched like 2 weeks ago, or did a soft launch. We're going to be at the launch next week, but they are already serving our churro fried banana splits.
Oh.
So wrap your brain around this for a second. So we take a banana, slice it lengthwise, coat both sides in churro dough, deep fry them, cover them with cinnamon sugar. Then it has the 3 scoops of ice cream, whipped cream, and, like, drizzle all the drizzle you want. So it's pretty insane. And
This is my I mean, often I'll talk to guests who kind of like I'll get hungry throughout the interview, but this is like a workout of my stomach. I'm like doing like a full like I don't know, like Peloton class here.
Yeah, no. Well, just wait because I got more coming. So we have the churro fried banana split. We've also experimented. We've done like churro fried pineapple spears where we'll dip them in like a coconut cream, so it's almost like a deep fried pina colada vibes. So we've also experimented with tons of things on the savory side too. So we take little smokies, wrap them in churro dough. We call them baby dogs, and we deep fry them. And we have a Diablo sauce that you dip them in. We've done a bacon wrapped churro dog. So it's basically what every corn dog wants to be when it grows up. It's like a hot dog. We cover in bacon, cook it, then cover it in churro dough, deep fry it, and then you dip it in with our Diablo sauce is the best. It's like spicy, kind of our signature spicy sauce, and you don't have to worry because all of our team knows CPR, and we have a defibrillator on hand because it is a heart attack, and it's so good. Yeah, so for us it's been we're just like constantly innovating with flavors, with when we decided last year to go into the frozen churro space. I'll show you this bag here. This is our take and bake churros. So we decided to like, well, let's do our classic churros and we'll just like make them 3 inches long, already fill them with dulce de leche. So all the consumer has to do when they get home is pop them in the air fryer. And then you have hot, fresh churros anytime, and that you never had before. And then like the innovation just keeps going, right? And so we're like, well, what if we made them really tiny? And there's actually a whole story about how this happened, but they and captured all of that, and then we freeze dry them into like a snackable churro that now you can take with you anywhere, and it requires no prep, but you get all that churro flavor that you love and crave, but you don't have any prep work, and it's not like long, and now you can have it anytime. So
You know
it's
what
just
I'm
been
thinking
fun.
of is, the that movie Napoleon Dynamite was infamous for when he just had the tots in his
Tots.
pocket.
Yeah.
You could do the same thing with the itty bitty bites. Just have like the churro bites in your pocket anytime you want
Totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ready to go. I love
it.
that.
So actually, we've kind of hinted at it, but not diving deep into it. But from the marketing prowess and kind of you've created buzz with your brand, there's one story that I'd love for you to share that I think is so cool. Can you share kind of the behind the scenes of how you got your brand San Diablo mentioned by Charles Barkley on Inside the NBA?
So there were when was it? Was it 2.5 years ago? When the NBA All-Star game was coming to Salt Lake City, which is where we're based. And we knew ahead of time that Charles Barkley was obsessed with churros. Like he loved it. There were a couple of like things that he had talked about on Inside the NBA, and as it relates to San Antonio. But anyway, there's like a whole thing about churros, and so we were on a mission to figure out how to get him churros the entire week that he was here, and so we were like stalking him. It was like shameless stalking, and we followed him around, and we were like did it all on social media. So like anywhere where he was, we were like trying to get him the churros, but his handlers could never let us buy him. So the very last day during the All-Star game, we brought down we got in touch with his one of his agents, and we're like, here he is broadcasting right now, we're just going to take these churros down. And so we took him down to where he was broadcasting. He was on a break. His agent, I said, here, please give these to Charles Barkley. She did. And then he like waved at us and said thank you, and then but we didn't see him eat them. But then we heard back on a text from his agent, and she said, Chuck loved the churros, And we were like, yeah, that was so awesome. And so then fast forward a week later when he was on, it was on Inside the NBA. They were reflecting about the NBA All Star, and he and Shaq thought that Salt Lake City was boring. It's not a boring town. I mean, it's not like New York City, but it's they were kind of bored here, and so they were bagging on Salt Lake. And he said, "Yeah, like Salt Lake City, that was that was a real bust, except those churros." And that's just what he said. He left it. He didn't say our name. He didn't say anything. But that was like all we needed. Or like that was the highlight in his time here in Salt Lake was the churros. So yeah, that was fun. It's fun to hack.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, it's brilliant that you and team were in tune with it and knew that he kind of like had an effect. Well, everybody, they always give him crap on that show for how much he likes food and all that, but which who doesn't? But you were in tune with the whole churro and food snack history with him, but also the fact that you didn't just think of it as like, hey, let's give him a little treat while he's in town. You like documented it on social media and kind of made it a whole thing that fans of your brand could rally around and create some more buzz with it. So that's just awesome. Big fan of Chuck. Also, a big fan of rapid fire Q&A. A little curveball for you there. You ready for it? We're
Yeah,
gonna
right.
wrap up with it.
Let's go.
All right, let's get wild. Let's get artisan. I don't even know what that means from a question
I don't
standpoint.
either, but I'm on board. I'm on
I'll
board.
say it with an old English accent. No, I'm just kidding. I already speak English. Let's get wild. What? So I said that you're from Alberta. Can you remind me the name of the town you're from? Lethbridge.
Grew up in Lethbridge. That's right.
So I was doing some research on Lethbridge,
Oh,
and
okay.
the inner. We're also watching Big Bang Theory right now, so it's kind of funny whenever there's something train related and anybody geeks out about trains. You think of Sheldon, and that show is obsessed with trains. I saw that Lethbridge has like this iconic, super tall bridge with railroad tracks on it.
Yeah.
Is that like a destination in town? Like, is that like a
Absolutely.
thing, or it just looks cool in
Oh
pictures?
yeah. I mean, everyone was like that was at least when I was growing up, it was like that was the thing. The high level bridge is what they called it. Yeah. And
Very, very
below,
creative name for it, by the way.
I know, it's amazing. I don't know how they came up with it, but then below was Indian Battle Park, and we would always go there and play, and so it was always in the background. And anyway, yeah, big deal. Like there's so much pride around the high level bridge in Lethbridge.
Well, anybody tuning in, look at just search high level bridge. It's pretty cool. It almost looks like an AI made up image because it's
Yeah,
just so big and they're wait like trains go 300 feet in the air on top of that. It's pretty surreal. So
yeah,
so that's where you grew up, right under the train track. No, I'm just kidding. But
basically.
all right, Mexico City. What was the thing you loved the most about Mexican City? Except like I won't let you say the street food.
The people. I mean, I mean, even as obsessed and as much as I love and long for and dream about and want it to be my last meal in mortality in Mexico City, like I would still say the people. I mean, the people, the culture, it's changed who I am. It's changed how I think, how I operate, how I navigate life, how I want to be. I want to be so outward focused, thinking of others and kind, and mi casa es tu casa, and the people. It's the best. They're the best. So much to learn from.
And also the best is tacos. I know you're a taco super fan. You've done taco tours, as you said. What is if you had your last meal on your
Mhm.
deathbed or death row? No, I'm just kidding. But if you had your last meal, we'll call it a Masters dinner. If you won the Masters and you had a meal there that was you know three different tacos,
Mm.
what fillings would you put in those three tacos?
I mean, no question, al pastor, a little bit extra crispy, left on the grill, preferably. I mean, a really like like a delicious spicy salsa. Obviously, it's that's one of the secrets of a great taco. Lime, no question. Pineapple, of course. Onion, cilantro, like duh. And I now I would do so if I had three.
So that's one, or you could duplicate those.
Okay,
That sound
so
pretty
this
good.
is what my three would be because it's gonna it. Hmm. So I would do the costra, which is a where they put like Gouda cheese on all of that I mentioned, or on the meat, and they put it on the flat top, and they grill it so the cheese is crispy, and then all of those toppings on top. That is, I think that's what that actual bite and taco with guacamole too, please, or at a minimum avocado. But like which is kind of unusual to put on pastor, but I just it is just it becomes the perfect bite for me, and I literally want that to be my last bite. I think no, I mean, I not that I think that I want that to be my last bite. I was gonna say I think I will need to die in Mexico City because I want to have that one in my mouth. So anyway, so there's that. That's one of the three tacos. The other would be absolutely carne asada, like mesquite grilled carne asada. I don't need cheese on that one, but onion cilantro, amazing salsa on a corn tortilla. That's basically all I need in life is those two tacos. But I would, since you gave me three, I would add another. I think it would have to be. Um, I'm thinking of this amazing taco, and I mean I'm a cheese guy. But I also don't need cheese. But this particular one is like it's fire. I mean, it's just like drop the mic. I can't believe. So they take a chile poblano, like the one that you do chile rellenos with, and they stuff it with Gouda, and then they grill it so it has like the char on the outside of the pepper, and it makes the cheese like lava inside. And so then they will do that and combine that with like a carne asada, also mesquite grilled, chop the living daylights out of all of that together, mix it up. I can't even tell you how incredible it is. Like I'm a char guy. I like a little char. I love like savory flavor. You put your lime juice on there and onion cilantro, a super spicy salsa. It is perfection to me. I mean, those three tacos, that like those are dreams coming true.
So if you could do a fourth taco, no, just kidding.
Oh,
no, no, I respect the craft. That's one of the most impressive answers and detailed answers I've ever heard. And you can tell the creativity and thought that goes into your churros just from that little snippet of the passion for tacos as well. So, Scott, you're the man. Thank you so much. Really
so great
appreciate
to
it.
be with
Huge
you.
huge fan of what you're doing. Now I'm craving tacos and churros, so thank you for that. But
I'll get you some.
uh,
Listen, I'm gonna send
yeah,
you
appreciate it.
one.
Yeah, the pepper one that sounded pretty
Wait,
good. No,
okay, so do you like spice too? We didn't even
I
talk
do.
about this. Do you know
Yeah,
that we have an habanero cinnamon sugar dusted itty
I
bitty
knew there was a spicy
churro?
one. I didn't know it was habanero. Oh boy.
So habanero, and this is how much that we care about flavor. I didn't want to do like weak sauce cayenne or like even jalapeno. That's so like common, but habanero is so it has a very distinctive experience, right?
Breathing
It's a,
fire. Yeah.
it's a delayed burn. Anything it touches burns, and like there's a word in Spanish called arde. It just like it sizzles like on the back of your
Mhm.
throat, on your lips, and um, and so people will eat it. This is what I love about these. So they'll pop these little itty bitty churros in their mouth and they'll eat it, and they're like, "Oh, these aren't that spicy." I'm like, five, four, three, two, one. I'm like, "Oh, whoa." whoa, that's spicier than I thought. Oh my gosh, that's hot. And then it hit, because it then builds. It's a delay. It tricks you. It thinks that you makes you think it's not spicy, and then there's a delay, and then it builds, and it doesn't go away easily. And so we wanted to create this like distinctive eating experience that's definitely going to be memorable. So I'm going to send you some spicy ones, and I'll send you the classics, and you'll have all the churros you need. And then you can go
Thank you
down to
so
the
much.
store down the street and get them.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, your distribution is on fire, just like your habanero bites. So, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. I can't wait to try all these, and I guess I'll need like a glass of milk and a damp towel on hand as well. But where's the best place if people are to try out your churros? Where's the best place to connect with you and your brand online?
Absolutely. Yeah. You could go to our website, sandiablochurros.com, or our Instagram or TikTok, where we do TikTok Shop live broadcasts. We're actually getting ready for one right now, where we
Nice. This
sell.
is your. I'm honored to be your pregame pump up.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so on any of the socials, we're San Diablo Churros also. That's our handle. So, and
Perfect.
feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn too. I'm just Scott Craig Porter on LinkedIn. And I have a taco emoji around my name too. So for obvious reasons, because there's no churro emoji yet. We're working on that.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, that's right.
Tacos will have to do for now in emoji land. All
Yeah.
right, last thing, final thoughts. It could be a quote. It could be a fifth taco. No, it could just words to live by. Just kind of one line. Send us home here.
I for some reason over the last couple of days, like that this idea that I think my mom kind of instilled this in me, this concept of you never know. This idea of you never know, like almost kind of like the whole you miss every shot that you don't take sort of thing. Like you never know what could come of this. So like give it a try. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. Like move on. But like you never know what's going to happen when your friend says, "Hey, do you want this recipe for my churros, my grandma's churros?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I file it away. You never know when you might end up using that, but and having it change your life. So I think that for some reason that's like one of the phrases that has come to my mind a lot recently as I've been reflecting on what like my life journey and how that kind of mentality has impacted what I've done and not done too.
Bring on the bongos.